everybody. Welcome back to Fire Your Empty Now Radio. It is Monday, August the 11th. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden once again, as Dr. Glidden is going to school to keep his license current. Now, I can't imagine being a professor in a class and looking down at Dr. Wallach and Dr. Glidden staring back at you. Might be a kind of a, I don't know, like, what are you gonna teach Wallach something? It's kind of how I look at it. Anyways, call in line 844-374-5433. Once again, 844-374-5433. You can contact me and get your questions answered on the show. Go to Mike at teamglidden.ca. Once again, that's Mike at teamglidden.ca. I am very humbled and very proud to be hosting this show for Dr. Glidden. It's a big set of shoes to fill, and I try to represent him as best I can. Now, I am not a naturopath. I am not an MD. I'm not a acupuncturist. I'm a guy who a few years back was looking for a way to get back my health and the health of my wife, mostly for my wife. And you might have heard her on the air with me on Thursday. She's a beautiful little girl, and she is completely pain-free after, about 5 years of debilitating pain. And multiple doctors, rheumatologists, pain specialists. And you know what? We did it because hope springs eternal. And the reason I say that is because I don't believe all the hype around this Ebola propaganda. I really don't. Like, I study different news stories in order to go on this show and have something to talk about. And, I go to different health sections like Fox and CNN and a whole bunch of different places, and I'm seeing just mass hysteria over the Ebola virus. Now, health officials in Liberia are saying that they're facing an Ebola epidemic. Okay, now I want you to do yourself a favor and educate yourself a little bit on Liberia. Okay, go on YouTube. And there's a channel called Vice Travel, and these guys travel to the worst places in the world, war zones, poverty-infested regions, and they actually took a trip to Liberia. And you can watch that on YouTube. It's called Cannibal Warlords of Liberia. Now, a little bit of history on Liberia. That country was America's foray into African colonialism. All right, now the capital city of Liberia is called Monrovia, and this country has been absolutely ravaged by internal struggles and war, and as a result, they're completely corrupt. The police and the military, gangs rule sections of Monrovia. But what you'll notice about this city is that there's running sewage in the streets. There's rampant drug abuse and prostitution. The only thing you can really do if you're a boy or girl in Liberia, in the capital city, is join a gang or become a prostitute. Okay, they were showing pictures of the beach where the people go, and there isn't maybe a half a foot square that does not have a turd from humans crapping on the beach. Now, I don't like to be gross, but this is a public sanitation nightmare. And now all of a sudden, Liberia's got a health crisis. Just now, we're just hearing this. Well, I'll tell you what, they've been having a health crisis this whole time. And when you've got bad sanitary conditions, such as I just described, and poverty and starvation, people are malnourished, any disease is going to come along and wipe them out. Okay? Now, looking into this further, I went over to Robert Scott Bell's website, and he posted an article by John Rappaport. If you're not familiar with John Rappaport, he's an investigative journalist, and he has been on the Alex Jones show multiple times. He even hosted it once or twice, I remember. But I got to bring this article to your attention because I think it really hits the nail on the head. If you want to read it, you can go to John's website. That's nomorefakenews.com. And he's actually done a lot of work exposing problems in the medical system. Now, check this out. When you have useless and false diagnostic tests, people with Ebola symptoms who are actually sick for reasons that have nothing to do with a virus, and a global PR machine that launches more lies per hour than a two-bit hustler at the racetrack, you can rev up a global epidemic purely on the basis of invented storyline and image. This article is about the Ebola psyop, the imagery, the storyline, selling it. Premise 1. The virus comes from Africa. Oh no, watch out. HIV came from Africa. Uh-oh, watch out. The unproven origin myths. HIV equals green monkeys. Ebola equals fruit bats. Africans eating bats and monkeys. And mating with HIV green monkeys. Storyline, imagery. A frightening virus is supposed to come from a far-off, strange place where primitive things happen. West Nile, Uganda, SARS, China, bird flu, somewhere in Asia, HIV, Africa, swine flu, Mexico. Why do they not ever say a pandemic virus came from Brooklyn or Tulsa or the Grand Canyon? There's ample opportunity to satisfy the animals gave it to humans storyline in the Grand Canyon or in an alleyway in Brooklyn. A coyote bit the leg of a picture-taking tourist in the canyon. Therefore, all of Japan is on lockdown. Grand Canyon plague, we'll call it. A rat bit a young hood while he was combing his hair to look like John Travolta in an alley in Brooklyn. But no, for Westerners, it has to be Africa. Cincinnati hemorrhagic fever doesn't have the same ring. True, in America we have Lyme disease, but the cause is purported to be several bacteria carried by ticks. A virus like Ebola carries more propaganda fear. Yeah, you got to think about that. Why weren't they broadcasting 24/7 stories about Lyme disease when that's actually spreading in Western Canada and the United States as well? Bacteria, virus. A virus is much smaller. A virus is diabolical. Imagery. The myth is bacteria can be treated. A virus could destroy the world. If pharmaceutical companies are going to sell you billions of dollars of drugs and vaccines to treat an epidemic, their number one target market will be North America. Therefore, North Americans have to be terrorized. Well, what's the best way to do that? The virus came from a far-off, strange land. Ebola has the added image of a patient suddenly spewing blood all over the place. This is crucial. And then the slightest infection with the Ebola virus and you'll probably die. Absolutely false, but who cares? More mythical storyline. You're sitting in an airport terminal. You open your mouth to yawn and the person next to you vomits blood. A molecule bounces off your wristwatch and bingo, lands on your tongue. You're a goner. 6 weeks later, closed casket or cremation by trained professionals wearing hazmat suits. With Brooklyn fever, most of Manhattan would simply refuse to get sick to show they're better than Brooklynites. I could very easily cook up an American epidemic, drop of a hat. Give me a dozen doctors from the CDC Epidemic Intelligence Unit and a whip, and I'm good to go. I'll make those doctors journey to the western U.S. and find a flu virus in a cow on a ranch in Wyoming. Side note from me here, they already did that. Remember mad cow disease? Dr. Wallach proved that that was a copper deficiency because they did not have elastin in their brains, which the copper would have produced. But no, we had to shut down the beef industry here in Alberta where I live because of a false epidemic. And you got to take your shoes off getting on the plane. Bogus. We go on. Cows, like humans, probably have a few flu viruses at all times in their bodies, doing absolutely nothing except lying around watching CSI reruns. When those doctors find in a cow a flu virus they've never seen before or pretend they found one, we'll give it a name. The Laramie flu. How's that? When the doctors will find or pretend to find the same virus in a few people. will report back to the CDC and the PR engine will start to turn over. Big promotion, Laramie flu, watch out. Soon every patient walking into a doctor's office or clinic or hospital in the U.S. who has a cough or a fever or an ache will automatically be slapped with the label Laramie flu. The CDC will declare a public health emergency, egregiously invent the number of cases, and we are off and running. Some jerkwater drug company started in San Diego will win a grant from the Department of Defense to work on a vaccine and a drug. Heroic researchers are rushing to complete studies on a Laramie vaccine while the public is anxiously waiting for help. Meanwhile, the CDC is cautiously recommending treatment with Ublady X2, a potent and somewhat risky antiviral medicine. Side effects: severe lung infection, flu, pneumonia, which in some cases is fatal. You get it? The drug causes the symptoms. People who die after treatment with Ublady, that's fictional, are merely designated as victims of the Laramie flu. The drug is off the hook. Nice and neat. Images for the Laramie flu? We need them to, how about people spewing up mucus, violent cough, sometimes causing capillaries in the brain to rupture. It seems a truck driver in Texas ate a cheeseburger in a diner and contracted Laramie flu. Fear spreads like wildfire. Storyline and image are the essentials. Science? When it's crooked, cooked up, and unreliable, you're all set. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, not buying this Ebola garbage. Not at all. Not worried about it. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. We're live. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Now, before the break, I was talking about John Rappaport's take on this whole Ebola thing. And you know what? I happen to agree. A lot of these times where these diseases are originating, they have poor health conditions in the beginning. Malnutrition, bad sanitation. All of these things are going to contribute to disease, and they can slap that on anything that they want. But the good news is, if you have a nutrified body, you can stand up to just about anything, but they've got to ramp up the fear. I mean, you know, just on Fox Health right now, I'm going to read you 4 headlines. What's scary about Ebola? Reasons not to fear it. 1, 25 years ago, a different Ebola outbreak in the U.S. 2, didn't wipe us out. GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, Ebola vaccine to start clinical trials soon. West African churches filled as residents pray for deliverance from devil Ebola, and it goes on and on. And I remember when it was swine flu. I remember when it was bird flu. You know what? And as far as I'm concerned, it has nothing to do with the show. It's my opinion. I think that the whole human-caused global warming thing is a steaming pile of crap to get you to hate yourself and your fellow man because polar bears can't swim. We're going to go to a question that I got from Will Ken in an email, and you can contact me, mike@teamglidden.ca. Will Ken writes, heard Dr. Glidden on the Alex Jones show recently. Really great interview. Now I listen to the Fire Your MD Now podcast. I have a question about brain tumors. Is there any remedy other than or in addition to the chemo? I have a friend, aged 27, young dude, but now diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor and goes through some sort of radiation to try and shrink it. Is there anything else his family should be looking into that I can share with them? I follow a lot of alternative health news, but I think they have no knowledge in alternative medicine or any other options that they are aware of. He now has an estimated lifespan of 3 to 5 years from now. He and I are the same age, and now I'm thinking this could easily happen to any one of us. Any insight is appreciated. Thank you. Well, Ken, thanks for the email. And there's actually really good news on this front. Dr. Wallach proved a long time ago that if a person can get a high ORAC value into their body, that your body will fight off cancer. We don't offer treatments or cures because it is illegal under the FDA in the United States and Health Canada, here where I'm at, to say that anything cures or treats anything unless it's a drug or unless you're saying something stupid like hope is the cure or awareness is the cure. They love that, don't they? Awareness. Awareness is the cure. Anyhow, so what we would do for a brain tumor or cancer is we would get that person on 90 essential vitamins, minerals, and amino and fatty acids, and you can get access to that through Youngevity now. The ORAC value. ORAC is an acronym that stands for Oxygen Radical Absorption Capacity. So if you want to help your friend, there's a few different ways we can go about this. There's a sea vegetable called fucoidan that is present in a product called Z-Radical. All right, and this has been shown to have a devastating effect on cancer in the body. Second, the mineral selenium. Selenium is very special, and what it does is it actually recycles a biochemical in your body called glutathione. Now, what glutathione does is it attacks free radicals in the body that are causing this damage and the tumors, damage to the cells. All right, so you get your glutathione working properly, because what happens is whenever it attacks a free radical, it's kind of like a bumblebee. It stings and dies. If you are supplementing with the proper amount of selenium, that glutathione will keep recycling in your body and fighting those free radicals. The body is an amazing thing. Okay, we have systems to deal with this stuff, and actually your body does all the time. You just are unaware of it until you happen to be sitting in a doctor's office and they find it, or in the case of your friend, he was getting headaches or whatever the case might be. Well, you know what? You don't have to worry, because there's no reason, Wilken, that you should ever get a brain tumor, and I'm going to send you an email after the show, and if you're interested, I'll get personally involved with this. Mike Phillip, filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip, filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We've got Susan in Minneapolis. Stay on the line. Susan, I've got something else I need to get to first, but I will talk to you. Just wait right there. Now, I have a new friend, Allison, in South Korea, and this woman is amazing. She has taken Dr. Wallach's research and really doubled down on it, and she has had some amazing health results, and you can follow her progress on her blog, and you can get to that by typing in butimhuman.typepad.com. Excuse me. Once again, that's butimhuman.typepad.com. And the but I'm human part comes from the headline on her blog. It says, "There's plenty of mobility nutrition for dogs, but I'm human." Now, Allison has recovered from some really heavy duty things and a whole life of sickness and pain. And I want you to hear her tell her story. And this will just take a few minutes. Listen to what happened with Allison. Let's roll that clip.
Hello, this is Allison. Today I'm going to tell you my health story. I'm 55 years old and I've been in ill health my entire life, even from when I was a small child. I spent my early life going in and out of doctors' offices and having tests and being sent to specialists, but nobody could ever tell me why. I was exhausted all the time and I could never do what other people could do. By the time I got to 2010, that's now 4 years ago, I was starting to reconcile myself to the fact that my health was going downhill and there was nothing I could do about it, and I just had to hang on as long as I could, and I would not expect to make it to 60 years old. In 2010, my whole body stiffened up. I had no idea what was going on, but I lost the ability to run. By 2011, I was limping. And by 2012, I was permanently bent over to the left My left leg was shorter than my right. I had serious problems with the hip, my left hip. My left knee was bent in. The whole of my left leg didn't feel like a leg at all. It just felt like a painful stick that was attached to my body but didn't belong to it. And I was in serious trouble. I was in pain 24/7. Whatever I did, I was in pain. I also had, at night, I had ringing in the ears really loudly. I thought it was a noise coming from outside at first. I had the urgent need to go to the bathroom. I had creepy crawlies and restless leg syndrome, and my heart rate would increase when I got into bed. So there was no relief, is what I'm saying. Whatever I did, I sat down, I walked, I stood, I laid down in bed. There was no relief, and I was in desperate trouble. And I'm a Christian, so I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed that I would find some help. I was already taking a lot of nutritional supplements. I had cupboards full of the stuff. And they seemed to help me in some areas, but nothing helped with the bone and joints. Eventually, I started listening to a doctor called Dr. Joel Wallach. And for the first time in my life, I heard a doctor who could make sense of my life. I'm sorry. He could explain to me why I had severe asthma as a child, and why that led to other diseases, why I've been constipated my entire life, and why I'd eventually started having all these mobility and bone and joint issues. So I followed his advice. I started taking longevity products, and I started following his dietary advice. I had immediate results. Within 4 days, I knew that I was on the right path, because within 4 days, there was one particular pain that I had just above my left knee. That pain went in 4 days. There was a significant reduction in the restless legs at night, and I was actually walking slightly better. And at first I thought, wow, miracle cure, give me a few weeks, I'm going to be fine. Of course, it didn't work out like that. I had to be much more patient than that, especially after 2 months on the products. I started having severe back problems. I hurt my back somehow. And I actually seemed to be in worse pain than I was before, and my mobility got even worse. And I had to kind of ride out a few terrible weeks. But eventually the progress started again. And by the time I'd been on the products and the diet for 6 months, I was standing straight. I was no longer bent over to the left. I was functioning much better. I was walking much better. I was able to move much better. And I was pain-free most of the time. That 6-month mark is now a year ago. And in the last year, I've continued on the program, and I have continued to improve slowly but steadily. Every few weeks, I get a new skill back, or something happens that is an improvement on where I was before. The situation now is I'm walking 90% better. I'm still limping. I'm still using a walking stick. But I am able to go where I want and do what I want. For a long time, I was kind of trapped in my house. I was just too scared to go out the front door because I didn't know if I could get myself back again. I'm way past that now. I can get on buses, I can get on trains, I can go where I want, do what I want. And I feel good. Now, if you knew me for 55 years, you know it was amazing that I can actually sit here and say, I feel good. I can get home from work and I feel good. I feel like I can do something in the evening rather than just crash and be thankful that I don't have to go out again, right? I'm almost pain-free. 99% of the time, I'm pain-free. And even when I do have a bit of pain, it's nothing to what it was. What can I say? I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to God. I'm so thankful to Dr. Wallach. Oh, shut up, Alison. And I'm so thankful to longevity. So if you have the same problems as me, I really pray and hope that you will get on board with the same program and that you will find the same relief. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Isn't that beautiful? I mean, this lady is so nice, and I've been corresponding with her for the last few days, and I really appreciate my new longevity friends. And with that, I would also like to give a shout out to Dave and Jeanette in Edmonton. They just recently contacted me. They're going to get on board. I'm going to phone them up right after this show and help them tailor a health program for themselves. Also, I would like to say hello to Anita Wasserman, and I'm going to get to an email from her in a little bit here. But first of all, we're going to go and talk to Suzanne in Minneapolis. Suzanne, are you there?
Yeah.
How you doing, Suzanne?
Well, I'm doing good.
Okay, so what's on your mind today?
Well, I just have a couple questions. I was to a meeting here Friday evening, but before that, I had last week I had started the 90 for Life, the tangy tangerine and the calcium and the essential fatty acids. And then I got the Sweeties because I was falling asleep a lot. Like after I would eat lunch, like say if I would have one day I had French fries and a Frosty, and I couldn't keep my eyes open for the life of me. I mean, I had to stand to do my job because I would just fall asleep. So I just assumed, I guess I'm assuming that I have an issue with blood sugar. But I don't know for sure because after about 3 days of taking the calcium, and the vitamins, minerals, and all that, along with the Sweeties, I would take about one a day. On about the third day, I became very dizzy as I was brushing my teeth. And then I just felt so funny. I would kind of walk, and I'd feel like I would step off to the side, like I didn't have control of my balance. And so I just thought, dear, what is going on? What's happening? So I decided to stop everything. I stopped the 90 for Life, the vitamins, the Sweeties, and I just stopped everything. And then I stopped being dizzy and feeling off kilter and what have you. But I'm still get sleepy after lunch and so on and so forth. So the fellow who I talked to Friday night, he said, "We'll give you a call and talk to you about it and see what you might recommend."
Well, I'm really glad you called, Suzanne. That, like, if somebody called me with a similar, with what you had been telling me that wasn't using longevity, I would immediately go to a blood sugar for vertigo issues. Now, the only way I've seen this not work is if somebody is not following the 10 bad food list. Number one, okay, gluten will definitely impair your ability to absorb these vitamins. Number two is not enough. And if you were only taking one Sweeties a day, if it were me, like I do about 6 a day, and I don't not always, but if I start feeling anxiety and whatnot, I'll start popping them and it goes away. But here's the deal. You're going to need more than that. And what I would strongly recommend here, okay, is that you take a little bit of a process of elimination approach to this, okay? Okay. And I would like you to just try taking 3 Sweeties a day for a few days and see how you feel, because if you're not taking enough and things start changing, but it doesn't have the punch behind it because there isn't enough there, then that could be part of the problem, because things are starting to change and you're feeling it, but maybe you just need to get over the hump. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so one Sweeties a day isn't going to do it for a pre-existing blood sugar issue, right? So you need that chromium and vanadium. So what I would like you to do is a little bit of process of elimination. Try just taking the Sweeties for about 3 days and see if that works. We're going to let you go, and we're going to go over to John T. in Clearwater, Florida. We'll be back right after this. Thanks for the call. Welcome back, everybody. We're live on Fire FD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden here on the Genesis Communication Network. And I got to tell you, I love GCN. I've been an Alex Jones listener for a lot of years, and then I just started listening to other shows. And as a result of that, I've had a lot of really good things happen in my life. It all comes down to taking in the right information and acting on it. And with that, we got Johnny T. in Clearwater, Florida calling. How you doing, John?
Doing well, thank you.
Good to hear. What's on your mind today, my friend?
Well, I don't know how much you want to discuss this on air with people, but it has to do with parasites in human beings.
Yep.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. Absolutely.
Okay. I know that I have flies living in my body.
Okay.
Okay, and I know this because I've spit them out. I spit them out into test tubes. I spit them out into clear bottles, all with alcohol in them.
Yep.
And this has been going on a long, long time, and I'm trying to find a naturopathic doctor here in this area of Clearwater, Florida, that I can go to and talk to about this and perhaps take these specimens to, because they're like long, stringy globs, giant globs, like the size of a golf ball almost. And within that are the flies and the fly larvae. There's little worms. And I'm told that if I go to a medical doctor, and I was told this by a very accomplished medical doctor, that if you go into an MD and say to them that you believe you have parasites, and my friend the doctor told me this verbatim, he said, if you tell them that, they're going to require you to go see a psychiatrist. Now,
yeah, I've heard of that before, John.
Okay, well, trust me, if you knew how many days, months I have dedicated to studying this and observing these things, I just need a place to go to get these things tested, because this is just absolutely ruining my life. And one other question that I would have is it possible that a botfly could be using candida in the body as its growth medium?
Well, they're living on something, right? And they're definitely there, and you know this to be a fact. And I got to say, John, that sounds just awful. I feel for you, man. But, okay, you wanted to know a place that you can go to and a test. I've got it for you right here. And this is actually recommended by Dr. Glidden. It's the only lab in the country that Dr. Glidden recommends for parasite testing. And you can go to directlabs.com. That's directlabs.com. Okay? Uh-huh. And you want the doctor's data parasitology ×3 test. Okay?
I'm sorry. Can you say that last one again? Doctor's
data parasitology ×3 test. Okay? And what you do is you order up a little kit, and they will send it to you, and you provide a sample and send it back to them. And what they do is they go through it, identify the parasite, and identify what will specifically kill that parasite. Okay? Now that's a route you can go. And if you want more information on that, Dr. Glidden, if you go to his website, fireyourmdnow.com, you can become an insider. It's about $20 a month, and what that gives you is access to countless hours of webinars with Dr. Glidden teaching on these different things. Now, he has an entire webinar on there on parasites, okay? And that's where I actually got the information for this test, and it's the only one that he recommends. Now, once again, that's directlabs.com, Doctor's Parasitology. John, I hear the music. You want to just go on hold during this hard break, and I'll talk to you on the other side?
Sure.
Great. You hang on there, John, and we'll come back to you. This is Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden, coming to the end of this first hour. We'll be back after this network break. Welcome back. We're live. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden on Fire Your MD Now Radio. The call-in line is 1-844-374-5433. Once again, 1-844-374-5433. Now, you can contact me personally, Mike at teamglidden.ca. The email address, once again, Mike at teamglidden.ca. And you would be surprised. Once in a while, I get really involved with people, and I actually phone them up, and they're shocked that I would do that. But the fact is, I actually really care about what I'm doing. I don't like seeing people sick. I remember suffering my whole life as a child with mineral deficiencies and amino and fatty acid deficiencies that resulted in some really horrible, crappy situations where I almost died, and that wasn't fun. Now, if you are in the Edmonton area, you can come to my Camrose meeting every Thursday at 7 o'clock. Just send me an email if you want to come and meet me, and what we do is we hold a live or archived webinar with Dr. Peter Glidden, and then I do a Q&A, and you'll find that I really get involved with people in my downlines. Also, if you want to get involved with Youngevity and know what products to take for different conditions, contact me at that email address, and I'll show you how to get these products at cost with free shipping. Sound good? Let's go back over to John T. in Clearwater, Florida. John, before the break there, we were just talking about the issue of parasites. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there suffering with this, and it would be just awful. I can't imagine living knowing that there's something inside your body. But you know what? Have hope, because I believe that you're going to get out of this. Now, before the break, I gave you the web address for directlabs.com. And once again, the test you want, doctor's data, parasitology ×3. And so also, I'd like to mention to you, John, that I was talking to Dr. Wallach. I phoned him up actually last Good Friday, because we had a girl in our town here that went to Malaysia and came back with really nasty parasites. And he actually recommended to me to tell her about a Youngevity product called Herbal Magic. Okay, Herbal Rainforest Magic, I believe it's called. And he said there's things in that will kill bugs. So, are we good, John?
Well, yeah. Do you mind if I ask you one more question? Two more questions.
I don't mind at all.
Candida.
No, go ahead.
When it comes to Candida,
yep.
I was reading up on this, and they were talking about the different stages, and that it can become deadly, and it becomes deadly after it goes into the fungal state. At which point, I believe they said that when it goes into the fungal state, it actually grows like little roots into your intestines.
Right.
Now, the other thing I read was there's something called an ELISA test, and they said that was the most accurate test to determine if you, in fact, have Candida.
Okay.
What's your opinion on Candida testing? And then the last question I would have is thermal imaging. Do you believe that thermal imaging could be very, very helpful in locating where the parasites are located in the body and how big?
It's possible. That is possible. I don't have an opinion on that. And one thing that I pride myself on is not BSing people, okay? If I don't know something, I'll just tell you. But
I like it.
Yeah. It's just good to be a straight shooter, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I've had enough of the runaround, trust me.
Yeah. So, I can't see why not. It sounds like you've been doing a lot of homework on this. The problem is that there's so much information online that I believe the well is poisoned, and you can find a lot of good information. Well, you can find a little bit of good information in a sea of bad information, kind of like the needle in the haystack. So, what I'm going to recommend to you, remember I was telling you about being a Dr. Glidden insider, and there's that webinar on parasites?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
there's also a webinar on Candida.
Okay.
Yeah, in which he talks about, how to get rid of it and whatnot. And that is my best place to send you for that, because I have had tremendous success with anything Dr. Glidden has told me several times. And, we're friends, right? So I have direct access to him. And I ask him a lot of questions, and I have never, ever, ever, ever gone wrong. Anything I've asked him, any advice he's given me for myself or my wife or my family, has always turned out to be 100%. So I would like you to check into becoming an insider. And you know what? Actually, John, send me an email at mike@teamglidden.ca, and I'll see if I
CA
can't
is
get
in
those
California?
webinars to send you. No, CA is Canada, actually. I'm in Western
okay.
Canada.
Team Glidden Canada. Okay. CA.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's mike@teamglidden.ca. Shoot me an email, and I'll see if I can't send you a couple of them webinars. Okay, John?
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care of yourself, John. Thanks for calling. We're going to jump over to Terry in Virginia. Terry, how you doing?
Hello, Mike Phillips. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Glad to be here talking to you today, Terry. What's going on?
I've heard you several times filling in for Dr. Glidden. But I've got some questions. I've started taking some herbals, which I was taking in the past, that I just have, they're just sitting around and not getting took, and I wondered if I should take them in conjunction with the longevity products. One of them is wild yam and chastity tree. It's for hormones that a naturopath put me on back 2 years before I started talking to Dr. Glidden, and I lost contact with her. The other one is all cell detox, and I've just done finished a liver cleanse about 2 months ago, and I've done a Zodo test about 2 weeks ago, and it come up that I needed passion flower, so I've started taking that again. But I'm wondering if I should be taking them with what I'm already taking, or if I'm getting too much of something.
No, I don't think it's going to hurt you. Tell me this. Are you taking any medication?
Yes, I take Coreg Carvedilol for high blood pressure.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. Anything in a Healthy Start Pack is not going to interfere with the medication. If anything, it'll make it work better. But herbs will, in fact, mimic a drug, because a lot of drugs are actually made from herbs. Okay, they're synthesized, and aspirin and things like that are actually based on different roots and whatnot. So, high blood pressure. If you're taking stuff for high blood pressure, what kind of longevity products are you taking, first of all?
I'm taking 6 glucogel 3 times a day for arthritis, 4 sweeties twice a day for syndrome X, 12 seleniums, 4 seleniums 3 times a day for cancer prevention. Mm-hmm. I'm taking 2 Ultimate EFAs, and I run out of my Tangy Tangerines, so I started taking 2 of the on-the-go Healthy Body Start Packs, 1 in the morning and 1 in the late afternoon. And I'm wondering if if I'm taking too much of anything. The reason I've become concerned about the herbs is I just got through reading somewhere that selenium is for hormonal imbalance, and I was put on the wild yam and chastity tree for hormonal imbalance because I've had a total hysterectomy like in 2006.
Okay, yeah, selenium is actually really good for hormonal imbalance. In fact, you know what's really great for hormonal imbalance is eggs, actually. Your hormones are made of cholesterol, interestingly enough. So if you can get as much soft scrambled or soft boiled eggs in you as possible, not only that, but the HGH Youth Complex is really good for hormones as well. Okay? Now, I wouldn't worry about any of these herbs with your longevity products. The only place where I might have a little bit of a problem with them is with blood pressure medication. But here's the good news. If you just get yourself extra OsteoFX, okay, get the liquid Beyond OsteoFX, and also I would like to see you take.
I have that.
You have
But
that, okay.
I quit taking it because I noticed that the calcium and magnesium is in the On-the-Go Healthy Start packs, and I'm taking 2 of the packs a day, and I just wasn't sure,
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Also, Ultimate Daily tablets, Ultimate Daily, are absolutely awesome for blood pressure. Absolutely awesome.
It looks like they're in the On-the-Go Healthy. It says, Ultimate Legend Daily tablets. Is that what you're talking about in this On-the-Go Healthy Body Start pack?
I'm not sure if they're the same thing because I have not used the On-the-Go pack. I have zero experience with it, but I do know that the regular Ultimate Daily tablets are phenomenal for knocking down blood pressure issues. How long have you been taking the product?
Either the longevity products?
Yes, ma'am.
Since September 2013.
And how do you
I had
feel?
all sorts of stuff going on. Well, I
yeah.
couldn't sleep. I couldn't put any pressure on my right knee. I had pains in my shoulders and, sharp pains from the arthritis, which just seemed to be hitting me all of a sudden, and everywhere. I have none of that anymore. Unless I go off of the glucogel, run out of it for a week or so, then it starts creeping back on me. But when I get it back in me, it's just gone again,
Okay.
So I've had some improvements, but I get really scared of being on a blood pressure medicine. Somebody just really throwed it out to me what it really means to be on Coreg. I think I was listening to one of the pharmacists, and he just really hit me upside the head. He said it poisons the heart. And so, I'm just like, wow.
Oh, yeah, and they'll cause diabetes and all kinds of stuff. Terry, just stay right there. I hear the music. We got to go to a break, but I'm going to hold you over to the other side. John T. had actually called up with a follow-up question. Call back in, John. I'd love to talk to you with anything else you want. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after this. We're back live on Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in once again for Dr. Peter Glidden. I'd just like to reiterate how much I love doing this radio show, and I actually learn a lot from people like you. And it's just a great opportunity. Before the break, we were talking to Terry in Virginia. Terry is still there?
Yes.
Okay, so you were talking about the things that you had found out about the blood pressure medication. It's absolutely...
Been on it since 2008.
Yeah.
Started me out on 50 milligrams a day, and then a year or two down the road, I talked to a pharmacist. He said that was way too high, and so I was able to convince the MD to cut me back to half of that. So now I'm on 12.5 milligrams twice a day.
You know what? I'd like to see that eliminated altogether. Now, I can't contradict your doctor's advice, obviously, me not being one, but I do know this. Dr. Glidden talks about statin drugs are absolutely awful. I mean, just awful. People should just drop them like they were the plague because they are.
Is it a statin drug or a beta blocker?
Well, statins specifically, but that one I'm not too sure about. You'd have to look into it yourself.
I think it's a beta blocker.
Okay.
Which is what it says, or maybe both beta and the other blocker.
Yeah. You know what? Either way, you can get your blood pressure under control really, really easily with the OsteoFX and the Ultimate Daily tablets. Now, if there's a comparable product in the Healthy Start to Go pack, I'm going to look into that after the show. Like I said, I don't have too much experience with the to-go pack. How do you? That's a lot of pills, hey?
No, actually, the On the Go Healthy Body Start Pack, it has 2 Ultimate Daily tablets, 1 EFA Plus soft gel, 1 mental capsule, and 1 calcium capsule.
Okay.
It has 5, and I've been started taking them twice a day, and I'm not sure. I just muscle tested.
Right.
And, I have a lot of stress, so I know that, my muscle testing may not be accurate.
Stress is a killer. It really is, but it can be brought into a manageable level by using medical nutrition. Also, I would like to mention to you as well, you're using the glucogel caps.
Yeah.
I have seen better results with the liquid glucogel plus, and also that glucogel plus has a high antioxidant level or ORAC score. So that's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And in our family, we have seen more success with the liquid glucogel plus than with the capsule. So you might want to try that out. The other good thing about that is that you can add that to your liquid and just drink it throughout the day because it's in liquid form, and you only use 1 ounce per 50 pounds body weight. So it's a lot easier to take than the handful of pills.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Try that out.
Swallowing a lot of pills.
Yep. Try that out and get back to us. Terry, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I need to ask you about the Z-Radical. I've ordered, Dr. Glidden recommended Z-Radical. I'm waiting on the Navarro urine test to come back, results for screening for breast cancer.
Yep.
I didn't want to wait in case I do have it, so I went on ahead and I ordered the 2 On-the-Go Healthy Start Packs and a case of Z-Radical. If I don't have it, if it comes up negative, should I still take the Z-Radical?
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Me and my wife were on the Z-Radical for about 6 months, and it was just absolutely awesome. We've recently switched it up for the Immortalium. Because the Immortalium also has the fucoidin and a rich algae blend. And if you are worried about breast cancer, the best way to go with you is the selenium. I don't see that you'll have a problem with it because Dr. Wallach proved, in fact, took the FDA to court out of his own pocket to prove and get a qualified health statement that 200 micrograms of selenium per day will absolutely obliterate breast cancer. In fact, my good friend Corey Prop, who lives in Calgary, his mother-in-law was dying of breast cancer, and they were able to bring her right back using the products. Terry, if you got more questions, I'm going to hold you over. We got another commercial break here. Okay, we'll hold you over. And Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back with more questions from Terry right after this. Welcome back to Fire Your MD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Once again, you can contact me at mike@teamglidden.ca. The call-in line, 1-844-374-5433. Once again, 844-374-5433. And we're going to go back to Terry in Virginia. She's got some more questions, and I got time for you, Terry. So go ahead. What else is on your mind?
Well, I've been confused all along about the high dose of selenium. I'm on 12 a day, and I'm hearing that 200 micrograms is enough. So isn't that a lot to be taken, and why do I need to take that much?
Well, you know what? The 200 micrograms a day was specific to breast cancer, okay? The reason that you're taking so much, and then is that what Dr. Glidden told you to take?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had cancer concerns, we want to make sure that your glutathione is operating optimally, okay? Now, the only way you're going to know if you're taking too much is if you start exhibiting signs of selenosis. And what will happen is you'll get fishy smelling breath and your nails will get really brittle. Do you have any of that happening?
What do you mean by brittle?
Brittle, like if you tap your nail, they'll break.
I don't think so. No, not really. But I can just pull my toenails off with my fingernail if I really want to.
Yeah, no, they'd be a lot more brittle than that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the reason they wanted you to take so much selenium, and you know what, I take probably about 6 to 8 a day myself. And I've seen big differences in people who have been taking selenium, after they up the ante a bit. Like I know I was speaking to a gentleman just today, actually, who was taking 2 a day for quite a long time. And he was still experiencing problems with his vision. And his wife upped them to about 6 a day. And, if Dr. Glidden suggested that to you, he had a reason for it. So it's not going to hurt you. And like I said earlier, the only way that I've seen this not work is if people are not taking the right amount. And that's what ends up happening with people, right? They take subpar, off-the-shelf vitamins that only give them a small percentage, and they're practicing what we refer to as fractional nutrition, right? Just taking 1 or 2 things here and there, and they don't get the health results. So, they walk away thinking, well, that doesn't work, right? So,
Right.
But it's already done a few things for you. And I would really like to see you get your blood pressure under control without drugs.
Okay, well, so you've told me what to do about that, right?
Yeah, I would get the
Well,
Ultimate
let's do it
Dailies and take
again.
about 4 of them a day.
Oh, really? Okay, 4 a day.
Yep.
With the
And you-
OsteoFX.
Yeah, with the OsteoFX. And if you double the recommended amount, it's 1 ounce per 100 pounds. If you double that for the first little while and just keep checking your blood pressure every day, you will see it go down. And then you'll be able to wean yourself off the drugs or talk to your pharmacist and tell him, look, I'm feeling better and I don't think I need these anymore. What do I do, right? And he'll have a good course of action for you. That sounds like you already have a pretty good pharmacist. Hey, he told you were taking too much to begin with?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you
well,
can trust
I have
them.
talked to the pharmacist about it, and I was to go to the doctor, and the doctor, the one I'm seeing, does not want to do anything about it. So then, I was forced into a self-weaning program that's kind of on hold, because I've not been taking the right stuff. See, I was supposed to be taking 3 scoops of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 Peach Fusion a day for my body weight, which is 160 to 150.
Yeah.
Which Dr. Glidden put me on, but I could not afford that extra canister.
Right.
But this here fear thing that I've gone into, maybe I'll just do it anyway, just do without something else somewhere. But,
yeah, that's a
whatever it
possibility
takes.
too. Yeah, you got to figure it out yourself too. You know what you can afford. Have you been talking to people about longevity?
Yes, I have.
Good. And if
I've
you
not
can
had
get
any luck. I have more luck talking to people about their pets and Dr. Wallach's 2 products for pets, and giving them some of the products for their pets, and then they're like, "Oh wow," seeing big phenomenal differences in their dogs.
right.
But people are just so strapped. The people that I've talked to, that is, that
Yeah.
I'm not getting anywhere yet.
Yeah. I know exactly how it is. People take better care of their dogs than their own kids, huh?
Yeah, they really do.
They do, and I've seen it over and over again. And you know what? Animals love the minerals. They love it. I got a friend who has a farm, and he was putting the Bloomin' Minerals for the garden in one of the rain barrels just to go and stir it up and put it on his garden. And he found that he couldn't keep his dogs out of it. They love those minerals
Really?
so much. Yeah.
Well, now, both of my dogs are on the Arthrodex, and my senior
Okay.
dog, who is 14, she's also on the Perpetual, and another product called Stem Pets that she's been on for years. And I have some Bloomin' Minerals that I got from my tomato plants, but my cat is passing a spot of blood here and there. And I've not talked to Dr. Wallach, but do you think I need to give her some Bloomin' Minerals?
I would, if it were me,
Along
I
with
would put
Orthodex.
I would put like a spoon in her water, just a little tiny bit. Absolutely. Animals love it. Here's the other thing too. You were talking about not being able to afford certain things, right? Well,
Yeah.
you're giving all this stuff to your animals. I might just lay off of that. Or what you could do is get the plant-derived minerals. It's only $20 a bottle, and give a little bit of that to your dogs, and thereby saving some money to take care of Terry first before the dogs.
I can give them the plant-derived minerals instead
Yep.
of the Orthodex and the Perpetual.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and that's only $20 a bottle. So that'll free up some money so that Terry can look after Terry before Terry looks after her dogs. And then you're not one of those people that takes better care of the dogs than themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in Virginia. But, I do take care of myself, but I think I'm going to have to up the ante, and I've already had to scale back on my brother. I hate to do that, because he's got schizophrenia. And since he's scaled back, he's just, barely going along. He's on the bottle of plant-derived minerals and the on-the-go Healthy Start pack, 1 packet daily.
Is it helping him a bit?
Yeah, but it's just taking too long. Whereas when he was on the full program that Dr. Glidden put him on for 3 months, I've seen a great big difference in him. And then when I had to scale back, it's like he slumped back and went backwards.
Yeah, it takes a...
Still, easier to communicate with. He has delusions of grandeur, schizophrenia. He thinks he's like going to be the president, and he's going to build us just all kind of bizarre stuff.
You never know; he might be better than your current president.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would be. And hopefully I can get him to maybe hey, if he gets well, who knows?
Yeah, maybe he needs to run.
He's getting there, he is getting there. I just really wished I could put him back on the full program. That's my hope.
People with schizophrenia and different mental issues are really difficult to deal with because you really got to hold their hand, because a lot of times they don't want to take anything because they don't think anything's wrong with them. And I've seen that before too.
Yeah, he has all of that. If he did not live with me and I did not hold the cable TV over him, I would not be able to get him to comply. So while he is with me, I need to get him well so he can live on it. He wants to live on his own and find a girlfriend and all that.
Yeah, well, of course he does, right?
Of course. And he wants to be successful, He has normal dreams just like anybody else. He's just like unrealistic about it.
Yeah. Terry, it sounds like he's very lucky to have you, and I'd like to see you up the ante a little bit. I've got to get to another call here, but I thank you very much for calling in, and you have a great day, Terry. We're going to let you go, and we're going to go over to Chicago, my kind of town. We're going to talk to Clara. How you doing, Clara?
Well, I have pain. Let me see. On my right side, right above my buttocks, and it goes down my leg, and my feet swell.
Your feet swell.
And I have constipation, and it makes the pain in the lower right side back hurt more.
Okay, swelling in the feet. Let's start there. A lot of times, swelling in the feet is a protein deficiency in the blood, okay? So what I'd like to see you do for that is eat a lot of eggs, okay?
Now, a lot of eggs?
Yeah, a lot of eggs.
Lot? What's a lot?
Oh, like 6 a day?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can get them down 6 to 8 a day. And that's actually going to do a bunch of stuff for you, but I bet you, I've just bet my bottom dollar that that's going to help with the swelling in the feet because of the protein deficiency. And also that cholesterol in the egg is really good for you. But there's a way I want you to prepare them. I want you to do them so that the yolk is soft or soft scrambled, okay? I find that the perfect egg is about 8 minutes and 20 seconds boiled. And if you can get them down, I would bet my bottom dollar that's going to help with the swelling in the feet, and that might even help with the pain on the one side. Now, with the constipation, Nature's most easily digestible fiber is the common apple. So if you can eat an apple or two a day, that could go a long ways to helping out with the constipation as well. All right? So, do you know much about longevity, Clara?
Yes, I'm trying to order products, but I'm just confused about what to order.
I'll tell you what, Clara, you want to do you email?
Yes.
All right, send me an email. Okay?
What's your email?
Mike@teamglidden.ca.
Mike at
Team
Team EAM.
Yeah, Team Glidden, GLIDDEN.ca. And I'll help you dial in what you need, okay?
So it's called .ta?
.ca, that's Canada, .ca.
Okay, this
I'm
is
in
what
Western
I have.
Canada.
Mike at Team Glidden, GLIDDEN, .ca.
You got it, Clara.
Okay, one
And
more
if-
question.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
daughter has irritable bowel syndrome. What
Yep.
can she do?
Well, number one for IBS, she needs to absolutely stop eating gluten. I bet you that's the cause of it right there. No more barley, wheat, rye, or oats for your daughter. I hear the music, Clara, and that means we're going to a break, but I'm going to hold you over. You just sit tight, and we'll discuss this more for your daughter after these messages. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Be right back. Welcome back. We're live on Fire FD Now Radio. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. Now, before the break, we were talking to Clara in Chicago, and we were talking about IBS, and it's an absolutely horrible, awful condition where you cannot control your bowels, and that is just terrible for a woman, much less anybody else. But there's a lot of people suffering with it. Now, I was just telling Clara, if your daughter is to absolutely abstain from gluten. That's barley, wheat, rye, oats, no oatmeal, no bagels, no bread, no pasta with gluten in it. Now, she can eat rice pasta, or she can eat gluten-free bread or snacks, but nothing with any gluten in it. And I predict that IBS will clear right up. Now, she's also going to need to get on a Healthy Start pack in order for her body to repair the damage that has been done by the gluten to her small intestine. Now, I actually know a woman who suffered with IBS, and it was getting worse, and she went gluten-free, and it actually went away for a long time. And then she was out at a business conference, and they were serving meals, and she just said the heck with it, and she ate the gluten, and all of a sudden, the same thing came right back. It was almost like clockwork. So she learned a little lesson there that she needs to stay away from gluten. I think it's the same thing with your daughter. Does that sound good?
Yes, so she needs to stay away from oatmeal, wheat, barley.
Rye, oats, yeah, all of it. And I predict that she'll, not only that, not only will the IBS go away, but I don't know if she's a heavy girl or what the case is, but I've seen women lose weight just overnight when they go gluten-free. And they feel better. Skin conditions. If you know somebody with alopecia, rosacea, any of these things, that's a dead giveaway for a gluten intolerance.
Gluten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, gosh, my eyes. I was seeing little black things, and I went to the eye doctor, and they saw it and told me to come home and then come back in 2 weeks. So I haven't seen them anymore, so I don't know what that is.
Right. For your eyes, it's very important that you get selenium into you, the mineral selenium, with the right amount of copper. Now, Longevity has a selenium product called Ultimate Selenium, and it's got the exact right amount of everything that you need in order to utilize that selenium properly. The other thing for eye health, two more things, along with a Healthy Start pack, there's a product called Vision FX, and I actually saw somebody double their vision in 3 months using those products. So,
What vision? What vision?
Vision FX, the letters FX.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Vision FX, Ultimate Selenium, and Ultimate EFA Plus. EFA Plus. You need those amino and fatty acids for proper eye health. Okay, now you add those things to a Healthy Start pack, and I predict you'll see a difference in your vision fairly quickly. Now, how old are you, Clara?
I'm 69.
69. Yeah, so you've got a few years of damage to catch up on, but you know what? There's good news. I've seen it work quickly with some people, and I've seen it take a few months. Now, do you know somebody that's involved with longevity?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you know what? You need to get a hold of them. Tell them Mike Phillips sent you back, and you want a Healthy Start pack with Vision FX and extra selenium. How much do you weigh, ma'am?
I'm overweight. I'm 189.
189 now.
5'4".
Okay, yeah, that's 2 Healthy Start packs. And if you go gluten-free, use the 2 Healthy Start packs and those extra products, the Ultimate Selenium and Vision FX, I predict you'll see a big turnaround in your health. I've got to let you go, Clara, because the show is over. Thank you so much for calling. Mike Phillip filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. I appreciate all our listeners and callers, and I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. God bless Canada, God bless America, and God bless you.